In this world of so much negative news, we need inspiration. Be Inspired is created for appreciative audiences just like you. So please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss any of our upcoming inspiring stories.
It gave us a sense of finality.
Right.
Closure. I wouldn't say closure, because closure would truly be Destiny and Richie walking through the door, and that's something I'll never have.
Be Inspired podcast. Real stories from real people. Sharing stories of love and loss, struggles and perseverance, laughter and tears, and overcoming adversity.
On today's episode of Be Inspired, we're going to meet someone who is a tireless advocate for others. She gives voice to the voiceless and strength to the powerless. Hi, I'm Bert Baron.
And I'm Lisa Anderson.
And we welcome you to Be Inspired. This season of Be Inspired is made possible by IGA Nephropathy Foundation. Lisa, it's very inspiring when people go to bat for others. When your arms are just a little bit too short, somebody that can help you reach and give you security and safety and protection, and just be your voice at a time when you need someone to stand up for you.
Yeah, sort of like a real-life guardian angel. And we see that so much with the guests we have on our Be Inspired podcast series. And it just gives you such hope for people. You hear all the bad. It's good to hear this.
We are in the presence of one of those angels here on the set today, on our Be Inspired set. Lisa Spicknall is with us here today. She's a victim advocate and is just a tireless fighter for others. And that says a lot about this type of special person you are, Lisa. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Was it something, we have to go back to the last century where your story starts, right?
I do, yes. In 1999, I actually, even well prior to that, early 90s, I had met a man who started dating and kind of thought we had a picture-perfect relationship, ended up getting married, having children. But what I didn't quite realize, because I hadn't been exposed to, because exposure to domestic violence in the early 90s wasn't something that we really had, was I was actually in a very abusive relationship. I was with someone who really, truly wanted to control me and control everything that I did. And the outcome of that relationship ended up in him murdering my 2 children.
You hear stories like this and you just think it's just too horrific to even begin to process something like that. And here we are sitting and talking to you about it in real time. And when you said we didn't know, yes, we didn't know a lot about it. As we do now, there's a lot of attention paid to it. But a narcissistic sociopath absolutely convinces women, or men in some cases, that it's them. And it is so difficult to realize that you're in such an abusive relationship. And there must have been a lot of guilt on your part.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for not getting out sooner. Absolutely for not being able to save my children. Guilt just for everything that had occurred, everything that had happened, and not realizing how bad it was and how bad it could turn into being at the end.
Right. In your wildest dreams, you don't imagine that this person that you thought you were going to have, a forever with was even possible. But that, again, that's how skilled they are at manipulating. And it always seems to be women who are kind and pleasers. And, it must be something I'm doing. And there goes the blame with not getting out sooner. What's your children's name?
Destiny and Richie.
Okay. And do you want to talk about the story that led up to that?
Sure, absolutely.
Situation?
Yeah. Destiny and Richie were 2 and 3. In September of 1999, their father had come to pick them up to take them on vacation. We were in the middle of a divorce, of a custody battle, very, very nasty at the point. He left to take them on vacation to our local beach. I got a phone call about 4 o'clock in the morning from my almost ex-husband's father. We were separated, telling me that his son had been carjacked and the carjacker had taken the children. My parents and I raced to the police station and waited for hours with no word on where the children were, on any of their condition, on anything, until probably about 8:15 in the morning when they were found by the troopers. And the call came out on the radio that they found the kids and they were hurt. And I just couldn't fathom what hurt meant, because I truly believed that at some point he would kill me, but I never, ever imagined he would hurt the children.
Right. Could never imagine he was capable of that. Yeah. This was in Maryland.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're still in Maryland.
I am still in Maryland, yes.
Bert, we hear stories like this on the news, and, it just is, like I said, it's something you think, well, it could never happen to someone, it must have been a crazy situation. Not so. Women, there is also a Facebook group, Justice for Corey. She's right around here.
Yes.
Same situation. And the guilt this mom is going through because of this situation, and there's a pattern, though, with you and with her. After the initial horror, complete horror, years of horror, you get this strength within you. And where'd that lead you to, Lisa?
For the past almost 23 years now, I've worked with victims of domestic violence, of homicide, impaired driving, just to help them, guide them through the legal process, to help them understand steps, to understand what the next avenue is going to be. I've assisted hundreds of victims with obtaining peace and protective orders in Maryland, just to make sure that they are walking down the right path and know what the steps are. Our legal system is such a challenge to navigate that giving back this little bit and truly speaking out, doing podcasts, doing events like this, speaking out, training law enforcement. I've become a trainer across the country, so I'm able to go and train law enforcement agencies across the country on the importance of understanding domestic violence and the horrors that actually come out of it. People don't look at me and think, well, you're an abused woman. I was, and I was for many years. And it's taken these 22 years to constantly build myself back up and constantly be able to sit and do things like this and talk about Destiny and Richie and our circumstances and our situation and the horrificness of what I dealt with for 8 years and what they dealt with in their 2 and 3 year short lives.
Law enforcement, there's only so much protection that's offered, and that's the unfortunate part. I often say, so-and-so had a restraining order. A lot of times that's not really, it's something, but it's not really.
And I had a restraining order. I did.
Yeah.
He went out and legally purchased a handgun, which was in violation of the restraining order. We had a huge snafu in our restraining order. It was actually removed from the database. But it's just a piece of paper. That's all it is. There's no protection out there unless you're protecting yourself, you're advocating for yourself, you have a plan in place, and you know what the next steps are going to be. And one of our biggest keys is getting our judges to understand the importance of what can happen.
Yeah.
Does it happen in every case? Absolutely not. Can it happen? Yes, it can. And we need to make them understand that.
It happens a lot more than they think. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
I'm not going to pretend I have the words or say I know how you feel, because I don't, and I never will.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry for what you had to experience. In the people that you work with, is part of a motivation or a driver for you, sort of, I do not want this person to ever feel a fraction of what I feel like every day. Is that a motivating factor for you?
Absolutely. And another motivating factor is Destiny and Richie were 2 and 3. They would be, gosh, it amazes me, they'd be 24 and 25 now. Nobody knows them. They only know them through me. So unless I'm out there living for them and talking about them and sharing them, people don't get to know them.
Keeping
them with me, keeping their
alive.
memory alive. Absolutely.
Right. And
so,
can I ask you, Lisa, where is he?
He actually was convicted and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. And about 8 years after he was incarcerated. He was murdered in jail.
Does that give you any feeling whatsoever about
I think it
justice
really,
or
it gave us a sense of finality.
right
Of,
closure?
I wouldn't say closure, because closure would truly be Destiny and Richie walking through the door, and that's something I'll never have. That'll never happen. But a sense of finality. There's no more court process to deal with. There's no more second thought of if he'll get out of jail ever.
Right.
There's no more thoughts of what could happen. He's gone, it's done, and we move forward.
His chapter is closed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And what you're doing and the strength that you managed to gather up within you is just, but I notice that with moms who have lost children who, that's all we have.
Right.
Yeah, I feel your pain because I've gone through, the loss of two children, and if we don't keep their memory alive,
Right.
People don't know about them, and they're still our children.
Exactly.
They still are
They still.
our children.
It's the hardest question to ever answer is how many children do you have?
Yeah,
Because it's a mindset of what conversation do I want to get into?
right. Sometimes you just say.
Sometimes you
Yeah.
just emotionally can't.
How is life for you now, Lisa? I see your son, Liam, is here.
Life is good. My son
Handsome
Liam is with us, hiding in the back. I have two boys, 19 and one that will be 17 in 2 weeks.
Driving.
Yes, driving. The oldest is in college. Liam's finishing up his junior year of high school. So it's very good. It is. We just move forward. They know their brother and sister the best they can. They've seen videos. They've seen all the photos. They have come to events like this with me. So they're very aware, very, very cognizant of domestic violence, of knowing the signs, the symptoms.
Yeah, Bert, I don't know if enough is paid to domestic violence. There's more organizations now, but if we really knew the magnitude.
It's a hard no.
Right.
Full stop, hard no. It doesn't get the attention that
No,
it warrants.
no,
Right.
it doesn't.
Your work, Lisa, with the Domestic Violence Unit Fund. Walk us through that, and what are the components of that?
Yep. So after Destiny and Richie were murdered, something had to be done. The only way to really do anything is to ensure that police agencies and our court systems are able to properly process peace and protective orders, because that was the error in our case. The protective order was improperly processed due to no fault of anyone in the clerk's office. It was just a handwritten way for my ex-husband to be controlling and required the word consent to be written on the order. And with that, they were explained that because it was consent, it could be removed from the system. So what we learned is that wasn't true. But unfortunately, again, back in 1998, 1999, when this was going on, even less was out there. So we really, truly, we didn't even have peace orders at that point. It was only protective orders. So the Domestic Violence Unit pilot program, as it's still strangely called all these years later, is a program that is funded by the state of Maryland. And what it does is it ensures that there's proper funding for clerks in the sheriff's offices to process those orders. There's training, and that there's proper service ability for peace and protective orders to ensure that we have enough deputies and officers out there to actually go and physically serve those orders to ensure, as best as we can, the safety for women and men out there who have applied for orders.
Lisa, throughout this process, and that must give you some, I hate to use that word gratification,
does.
yeah, to go through this. What's your biggest challenge? What would you say, causes you the most, I have to get that done?
The biggest frustration is just getting the word out there. Getting the word out there that domestic violence happens to everyone. It's not a socioeconomic status. It's not a culture. It is everybody. 1 in 4 women, 1 in 9 men. Those are the true statistics, current statistics.
1 in 4, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's crazy, and 1 in 9 men. Yeah, people often don't think of men having, being victims of domestic violence. But
Yeah. The more I helped people with protective orders, the more I realized I had just as many men in my chair sitting across from me filling out orders as I did women. And it was just baffling, because at that point, it was just starting to come to light that men were just as affected.
There is an organization in our area here in New Jersey, Bert, that actually they take a different approach, and I wonder if you're familiar with this, Lisa, where they arm the, I don't like to say victim, but survivor of domestic violence or victim in cases with the cameras and the a lot of surveillance material, a lot of
Protection, right.
protection, even people sitting outside 24 hours so this woman can get some sleep.
Right.
Yeah. In addition to that, like you said, it's a piece of paper.
Right.
Do you see more and more of that happening where the victim is being provided, like, I have to take this into my own hands because this person is going to come and
I do, and I
do
think
something?
with the more we see technology coming forward and the more technology we have with the cameras, and I know I have Ring cameras at my house, so I do have security cameras just for safety personally, not that there's anything
Right.
going on, but I highly always recommend get a security system, get cameras. I know our local law enforcement offers, essentially it's a panic button. So if anything happens, you can push the panic button and the police immediately are responding to your area.
What a
On
great
you.
tool.
So yes.
Sounds like a great tool.
And I actually at one point had it, and it was a phenomenal tool. So it's out there, it can be used, and they really do give that night of sleep, that sense of, I'm gonna be okay, at least just for 24 or 48 hours, where we see so often that one of the biggest stressors is, I can't not let my guard down,
Not for a minute.
not for a minute.
Because they know where you live. They know when you leave for work. They
Right.
know they could be
Everything.
waiting,
Right.
in the car. It's everything. It's the whole package. And, for personal protection, we don't live in Mayberry,
Right.
anymore.
What is your work now, Lisa, with Donate Life Maryland? What is that about?
So currently I work for Donate Life Maryland. We are the organ donation registry in Maryland. Kind of took a little bit of a step back from domestic violence, homicide, from that, but still working to save lives. So what I do is I work to register people to be organ donors. So
We have touched on that subject this weekend a couple of times and can't stress the importance of,
It's amazing how many lives
How-
one person
yeah.
can save, and
Yeah.
what
Absolutely.
a difference you can make, right?
Yes.
Right.
yeah, you're just moving forward with doing purposeful work.
And that's what, when this journey first started, I really kind of jumped in immediately to helping people because it was the only path forward I could see. So continuing to help people and continuing that path forward has really been just a life changer for me. I can't imagine where I would be if I didn't have that path forward because I lost everything. I had nothing. So to be able to move forward and to sit where I am now is truly just a feat of walking forward and making choices to continue to move forward.
And I'm sure your boys, your husband, very proud of you for
I
the
hope
work
so.
that you do.
I
I'm
think
sure
so.
they are. Yeah. Liam's smiling.
Smiling in the background.
Yeah, at his mom. And no, that's truly amazing work. It never ceases to amaze me, the strength of the human spirit.
Thank you.
Truly.
Thank you.
Yeah, to go on from there and just a life of purpose and service to others. I think that's the only thing that does help
Right.
with our pain is to, do for others because you see you're not alone in this and you see it so often.
Lisa, I think you bring a level of strength and bravery that I've never seen on this set before.
Thank you.
I mean that.
Thank you very much.
I mean that. I have to ask you about the picture that's on the table in front of you.
Absolutely. This is Destiny and Richie. So these are the babies who I put my whole life into after they were killed and have truly helped me move forward every single day. I think about them daily.
They're beautiful.
Thank you.
I don't know what to say. Looking at those two beautiful children and the horror that they went through, I don't know what to say other than God bless you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just, from looking at you, you would never realize what you went through, but
And it's been a journey. I mean,
yeah.
it's definitely not, it's a crawl. It's not a get up and run. It's a crawl every single day. So
Yeah.
Thank you. You're an angel in this world. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
I'm Bert Baron.
And I'm Lisa Anderson.
And thank you for joining us on Be Inspired.
My name is Lisa Spicknall, and in 1999, my ex-husband shot and murdered my 2 children. I'm here today to really hope to bring help to someone walking in a similar path and show them that there is a road forward that they can walk down.
Next on Be Inspired.
Then all of a sudden, $50,000 goes into my account. And I said, oh, that started the ball rolling. They were controlling my computer.
There are people out there whose sole reason for eating and sleeping is to take what they don't have. This has been the most difficult thing we have been through, because there are other families out there that are dealing with this just the same way.
Be Inspired with your hosts, Bert Baron and Lisa Anderson-Puleo. Directed by Rod Weber. Created and produced by Michael R. Doyle. Co-producers, Bert Baron, Lisa Anderson-Puleo, Rebecca Gruber, and Erwin Sternberg. Executive producers, Rod Weber and Sean M. Sternberg. Editor, Rebecca Gruber. Filmed at New Beginnings Foundation, Wall Township, New Jersey. The IgA Nephropathy Foundation was established in 2004 to find better treatments and ultimately a cure for this chronic kidney disease, which can end in dialysis and needing a kidney transplant. For more information, please visit IGAN.org. In this world of so much negative news, we need inspiration. Be Inspired is created for appreciative audiences just like you. So please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our podcast so you don't miss any of our upcoming inspiring stories. Be Inspired is filmed in front of a live audience. If you would like to attend a filming of Be Inspired, or if you know someone who has an inspirational story that should be shared with the world, please contact us at info@mrdproductionsllc.com. That's info@mrdproductionsllc.com.